like everybody, like I said, everybody's making every sub that comes in, you know, like, oh, he brought in Walker Zimmerman. It's like, yes, to play defense. We're not going to put in Gio Reyna. But the issue is Aronson. The Aronson subs is where Gio Reyna would come in. Oh my God, DPG, how you doing with your fine self?
Not too bad. I mean, I feel like
I love those sultry tones, bro.
Huh?
I said I love those sultry tones, man.
I mean, like, what can I say? I feel like Julius Caesar after conquering Gaul, you know?
You know, I am riddled with dyslexia, so I was never a big reader, but I did love the Julius Caesar play or book or whatever you would consider it.
Yep,
the play
I did too.
by the great
Shakespeare, right?
Shakespeare, yeah.
Yeah.
The great play, great movie too.
I read that in elementary school. I actually really enjoyed that play.
It's a manly play, guys. It's
well, yeah. Mark Anthony goes and wrecks shop across the world and hooks up with Cleopatra. I mean, you can't get any better than that.
I know, it's kind of nuts. It's like it appeals to a lot of people.
DPG, tell me you're happy, please.
No. So you know what? I'm really proud of the boys. You know, they you know, there's been the past couple of World Cups, you know, we've always gotten hyped up about this team that they're actually gonna make it to the quarterfinals, and we only get disappointed. And I'm not saying that still can't happen. All I'm saying is that the way this team is playing, the way this team is functioning, you know, it's like a really well set group. Like I prior to them playing these games, I questioned, hey, is this a team that's put together, or is this a team that's gonna come together?
Right.
And I'm really happy that the team has come together. We had question marks after the Wales game. I know I did, but they pretty much resolved some of those questions against England, and of course, you know, beating Iran, that kind of solidified. Okay, so maybe there is some hope with this team. Maybe we might make a statement this tournament. But the real test is gonna be on Saturday against the Netherlands, and that's a game that I'm looking forward to. At this point, win or lose, I gotta admit that I'm happy with the way this team played this tournament.
Right. Better than Canada.
Oh, totally agree. I think the only way I would be disappointed is if, like, after 15 minutes we're down 2-0.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Other than that, like, anything that happens is all good. Like I said, like, I'm even watching the Iran game, and I'm like, you know what? Even if they tie this game, like, this is it would be the what happened. Let's say Iran tied the game. That would have been the only way I would have been like considered this World Cup a success had they not gotten out of the group, because of just how they've played. It's not like teams of old, even though like Clint Dempsey's my favorite player ever, but teams of old were just like, we'll run through walls. You know, just brute force their way to victory. Like, not that they weren't talented, but they damn sure weren't like this. You know what I mean?
Yes, I do. This team has been not only fun to watch, they've been encouraging to watch. They've been impressive to watch. The fact that the way that they stood and not only attacked England, but made England quiver in their boots. And remember, holy shit, they won World War II for us.
Yeah, and one thing that I want to keep in mind, one thing I want you guys to keep in mind is that no matter what happens on Saturday, I will feel good about this team, because coming out of this tournament, pretty much this whole entire team is a bunch of young guys. Come 2026, we're gonna have veterans. We're gonna have grizzled veterans, and it looks like we're going up. I mean, think about this. We got a guy right now playing in Holland, like scoring goals like crazy, and that's Ricardo Pepi.
Yeah, didn't even make the squad.
Didn't even make the squad. That means that if this guy really hits his stride in Holland and just keeps scoring goals, oh my God, that guy's gonna be a threat in a couple of years. He is already a threat, but he could be better. And that's not to say that, you know, our pipeline, you know, we still have our pipeline to look forward to. We have the U20, you know, to look forward to. We have the Olympics to look forward to. So it is an amazing time an exciting time to be a USMNT fan, and I'm really happy with the way this team is playing. It has given me a lot of hope for the future. Has given me a lot of confidence with this team, and it's kind of and based on today's results, we can clearly see that the CONCACAF, the kings of the CONCACAF, is the United States. It's no longer Mexico.
Most certainly, totally agree.
And for the next 4 years, and for the World Cup, who do you think second? Mexico or Canada? I still think the jury's out on Canada.
This is going to be a kind of a giveaway because USA, Mexico, and Canada are not going to participate in the qualifiers. It's a given for them, which is fine.
That scares me a little. It scares me. We're not going to have a meaningful game.
We still have the Gold Cup.
Yeah, no, damn it! Why don't they move that to every 4 years? Let's make that thing matter, man.
And we still have the Nations League, so there's still some competition there. But I guess what I'm trying to get at is that based on today's results and yesterday's results, there's a different outlook, within the region. Like, for example, Mexico is no longer scary anymore. Going to the Azteca is no longer scary anymore.
I think they're going to be afraid of us from here on out.
I think they're just in a lull.
But here's the thing. This is like a total collapse because it's not just the Mexican national team we're talking about. We're talking about Liga MX. We just saw Seattle beat a Liga MX team to win the Champions League in a CONCACAF. We're also talking about the youth system. Mexico did not qualify for the U20 and didn't qualify for the Olympics. That means there's going to be a big gap in terms of developing young talent.
And their competition is going to go down because of that.
Well, and look what happened to us when we did that. We missed 2 or 3 Olympics in a row. We missed the Youth World Cup 2 times in a row, and that was the lost generation.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why Tim Ream and DeAndre Yedlin are the only people still left from that generation.
Kind of crazy. Yeah. The last time that Mexico was eliminated from the group stages and didn't make the round of 16, Angus is reporting, was 1978.
78. Yep.
Damn.
So think about that. This could be a wake-up call for the Mexican Federation to kind of get its act together, but it's gonna take time. And the fact that you missed out on a U20 cycle, that you missed out on the Olympics, it's gonna be a couple of years before you can start developing some meaningful talent. Because, what's the showcase for young talent, for European teams to go scout?
And to go buy your talent, right?
Yeah, it's the U20 and the Olympics.
Wow. And that's where they get noticed, and then they'll get brought in and elevated into better playing time, better coaches.
And especially the U20, because, some of those guys are still young enough to be part of a youth system for a big club. That's you can produce your Pulisic, you can produce your Reynas, guys like that, that went through the youth system. So imagine some of these young guys getting picked up by big clubs and going through that whole youth system, and actually working out for them. So those are things to think about.
How many Mexican players are going to go to the FC Dallas youth system?
Yeah, chances are.
I mean, I make a joke, but look at this team, dude. Kellen Acosta, Weston McKennie, 4 other guys I can't even think of right now.
Let me ask you this. How many of those guys, those Mexican players that are going to go through the Dallas youth system, are going to want to play for the U.S. men's national team instead of Mexico?
That's always a hard question because I think I
always say it's between the heart and the brain.
Well, it's also between the talent because because what if you're not going to be starting? If you're not going to be entering a position of need where you think you are the starter, like Serginho Dest knew he could beat out Yedlin. So he's like, yeah, I think I have a better chance with America than I do with the Dutch national team starting.
Here's the thing is you can't always look at it that way because you have to fight for your position.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, everybody makes their decision based on something else. What was his name? Giuseppe Rossi. He I heard that interview with the Cooligans a year or two ago.
Because of his grandpa.
Well, he was like, dude, I sat at home and would watch the Italian national team games. I never was gonna play for the US. I care about the Italian team.
Well,
You know what I
it
mean?
had-
And like,
yeah, well, it's Italy. That's a team with with World Cup trophies, and there's like a whole legacy behind that national team.
right, but it's also a harder team to break into in
Exactly.
theory. Well, especially at the time, right?
Yeah. But I mean, it also depends on who's coaching the team. There's coaches that have a whole youth
Politics. Tony
Oh,
Meola
there's
and,
politics.
and Pat McAfee were talking about. They're saying politics creeps into soccer decisions all the time.
I mean, there's coaches that go through a whole youth revolution where they want to bring younger guys and want to get rid of some of the vets, and that's fine if it works out for them. But I mean, at the end of the day, if that Mexican player or any player makes that decision to play between the U.S. men's national team or wherever country they're from, that's two things to think about. You have to think about your heart, where's your heart is at, and also think about in your brain. Like, think about, is this a right decision? Is the Mexican press, is the Mexican press or there's other countries' presses, are they going to get on my nerves to the point that I'm going to feel it's going to be a nerve wracking? Because that's what a lot of these Mexican players go through. They go through the Mexican press is brutal on the national team. So that's stuff. Those are little things to think about. And of course, as you mentioned, hey,
Did you
I grew
literally
up,
just win?
Yeah, I was had a dub.
And
Sorry.
like, hey, no, and then it comes down to, hey, I grew up watching this league, so I'm more inclined to stick with them.
Mm-hmm.
So
There's a
it varies.
connection with the Pulisic's and the Reynas and the Adams and the Brendan Aronsons.
I mean, and trust me, I think we missed out on more talent than just Giuseppe Rossi in terms of him going to Italy.
Mm-hmm.
We missed out on actually a few players that went on to play for Serbia or
Jonathan
Holland,
David, who played for Canada.
Canada.
Oh, or what was that dude's name? The defender who was at Dortmund forever. Oh, what was that kid's name?
Subotic?
Yeah.
No.
Oh my god.
No
Yeah.
way. Subotic?
Yeah, he was born in the U.S., dude.
Yeah.
And he played for Serbia instead.
Place of birth says Nevin. It says Nevin, born to Bosnian Serb parents. Subotic lived in Germany and the United States in his youth. He was born in Yugoslavia.
Oh, my bad.
But still, I mean,
He played
still
for the
could've
United States, U17s and U20s,
yeah.
before switching to Serbia.
So yeah, so it all
Wow.
depends,
It does. It's a culture thing. Like, I think, without getting too like ridiculous, if you noticed, like a lot of the German players born of American servicemen, notice what they all had in common. Most of them were black, right? So they didn't feel quite as accepted / at home with the German setup as they did, say, in America. And I think we still don't do a great job of incorporating our Hispanic American people into the team, but we're getting there. And I think, without sounding ridiculous, I think it kind of started with like more of the African American descendant players who are feeling more like in tune with their American side, wanting to represent America. This is a big team. There's a lot of diversity on this team. I think it's really fun to see a guy like a Tim Weah and Jordan P. Fox speak French, and then you see like Pepe and Ferreira be able to speak Spanish, and you know what I mean. You have Yunus Musa out there who's just,
I think he's Canadian.
without being rude, a mutt. Like he's got heritage from all sorts of places. It's really fun to see all the different kind of people that are a part of this American team.
And that's the beauty of it, because now you have kids that are looking on the TV screen and seeing these guys score goals and play for their U.S. men's national team, and say to themselves, "Hey, these guys look like me."
You know what used to happen at the Olympics? America used to fuck everybody up because we were getting exactly what you were saying. We were getting athletes from all these other countries that were rejected or turned away, or were searching for a better life and for more freedom. And we got those people over to America, and we ended up dominating some of the some athletics events that Americans might not have dominated. And right now, forever, we never saw that in America. In soccer, we never saw that type of American dominance translate to soccer. We saw it translate in the heart of the teams that played and their athleticism that they were able to compete, but on a tactical level, they just never were there. Finally, on a tactical level, we're there, and everywhere else we're there too. So some of that American ingenuity, that thing that makes America so great, that melting pot, finally is coming through in the soccer where it wasn't coming through for so many years.
Well, like
and you also have to take a no. I was gonna say you also have to take a look at it from the perspective of where all this began, the modern era of U.S. men's national team, which I would say started in 1990. Go from that point when we had a bunch of guys that were college players and part-time players, and maybe one or two guys, were playing professionally, to where we're at now.
The dream of playing in Europe wasn't really that realistic for so many people as it is now.
Yeah, being American is no longer a hindrance on the world market, and that's a very good thing.
That is changing.
We talk about representation mattering, which it does, and you look and how many of these kids. I mean, I've heard in interviews with either the Hooligans or on the Cracked or whatever, how many of these kids quote like tell DeMarcus Beasley straight up, like, wow, you got me into soccer. Like, I looked at the screen and I saw DeMarcus Beasley and I knew somebody who looked like me could play.
That's
awesome. I met an anniversary party, and
think about this: DeMarcus Beasley was a lot of people's favorite players for so many reasons, and that was one of them. He wasn't my favorite player because of that, but he was one of my favorite players because I loved watching him play. I thought he was an amazing player for America, and his athleticism was. I was like, we got a guy who could compete.
It's funny you mention that because to me, when I think of DeMarcus Beasley, I think of the generation after the Kobe Jones or Kobe Jones.
Yes.
Right.
He was kind of like the next guy that was going to take it a step further because everybody recognized Kobe Jones. I remember watching USA 94, with my uncle and my dad and my cousins, and we were all like, hey, who's the guy with the funny hair? Kobe Jones. 98, same thing. And
my God, isn't it so great that Kobe Jones hasn't flushed his reputation down the toilet like Alexi?
Oh God, Alexi. Anytime, the thing that cracks me up about Alexi Lalas is like sometimes he really pushes that envelope, and like to the point that he sounds more like, that he'll be the kind of guy that'll be hanging out with the American Outlaws fan group than he is as a commentator.
He's gonna be a chameleon, right? He's like a Tucker Carlson of soccer.
He is.
He's gonna pick out these horrible opinions, and then he's just gonna ride or die for them just for the content, basically.
I don't know how he does it, but he just rides that edge. And I gotta say, this World Cup, I've come to love Alexi Lalas. I've come to appreciate some of what he brings. And how it's different. And the other thing that I appreciate, Clint Dempsey's honesty.
Oh God, Clint Dempsey's man. That guy, I like when he commentates. That guy just keeps it honest.
Yeah, he's so great. I thought we had lost him forever, and I don't know how CBS did it, but they said, Clint, we've backed up the Brinks truck. Please come in from fishing. His disdain for Alexi Lalas. His disdain for that man is the best part of the two of them having to be together at the desk.
For Alexi, yeah, he is like dealing with it. It's hilarious. It's made fun watching.
Yeah, I mean,
you know who I miss. I gotta say real quick, just a shout out because I have yet to find him on any of the commentating teams. I've yet to find him on any kind of World Cup, anything. But I love Maurice Adu more than any heterosexual man should love another heterosexual man.
Whenever I hear that man talk, I'm like, oh, is that Maurice? And then Maurice.
I think he showed up for the MLS Cup final, or he showed up for some of the playoff games. And Maurice Adu, especially when you put him together with Clint Dempsey, oh my God,
that's amazing. That's a match made in heaven, right there.
Tony Meola, guys, is so good. We had Tony Meola. He's one of the better color guys. I mean, his delivery might be a little dry sometimes, but I think the content he brings is second to none. I mean, I've been listening to Landon Donovan, and Landon Donovan's been fun. He brings great ideas, but his delivery, oh my God, it's like he's doing a podcast by himself. Ian Dark's
like
feeding him
overexcited.
questions, and he's like, and Ian's like, how do you think about that, Landon? And Landon's like, dead air for like 20 seconds. I'm like, what is going on?
I think Landon Donovan falls in the same kind of category as Thierry Henry. They're not necessarily great at this, but they were so great that they have so many more stories than everyone else. You know what I mean? That
He had great insight when he spoke. You're right. Like, and same with Thierry. He had great insight when he spoke, but his rhythm was just not there, and not with Ian Dark either.
I mean, we used to do and Clint Dempsey. You know, those guys are great. Those two guys. You know, when I especially when I had the chance to actually watch them together, man, they're just going back and forth. I remember when I believe someone made the Hall of Fame. I think it was either Clint Dempsey, and they were just kind of bantering, you know, each other with that. But yeah, I mean, Alexi Lalas, he is the Tucker Carlson of soccer for US. Yeah, like especially when you get him going during whenever USA and Mexico play. Oh my God, this guy sounds like. I'm even surprised that Herculez Gomez doesn't pop him in the mouth or something, because he's like borderline, like, I'm not gonna say he's borderline saying racist stuff, but it's getting close. You know whether
like I said, he picks out the most controversial thing, and then he's like, it's not even necessarily the things he thinks. It just feels like he goes, okay, well, here's the angle I'm gonna take.
Yeah, like he'll shit on the Mexican national team, and then he'll say, I hate the Mexican national team. He's like, but I love the country though. it's like, what?
Yeah, these filthy players and wonderful people. Like, just
Yeah. He's like, okay, but that cracks me up. It's like when he says stuff like that, like he'll like flip it around. But man, it's just, if you think about it, this process that started in 1990 all the way to now, it's like it's a long way. And on top of that, I have to step out, guys. All right, I'll be right back.
All right. Oh shit! I'm just taking bodies right now. Woo! Shit! Where'd he go? All right, I gotta heal.
All I see is you in some weird round room. I know I'm like 30 seconds behind.
I am running amok right now.
I was originally. Oh shit! I'm way behind on your thing. But no, I was thinking about setting up the old PS5 in
If
here.
you want to join, hop in.
Yeah,
You're gonna have to set up the PS. No, that sounds like work.
Yeah, no, I've got it set up in the other room, ready to rock. Man. This has been a fun World Cup. I think the only World Cup I've had more fun at.
I need you for sex right now. Okay.
Okay, so I've got to go.
All right, 2010. Good luck. All right, good luck to our fallen comrade. He's been summoned for the snoo. Boom, boom, boom. Have fun. Let's go back to spectating. Chat. Oh, that was great. That's hilarious. Let's take a moment to. Well, look at this weapon. What the hell is this thing? This goo gun. Look at this goo gun. Apropos of for what Toke about the mission, the adventure Toke's about to embark on. All right, gotta move on. It's hilarious. With this guy, 11 people left. He's shooting straight up. He's stuck. He's stuck in ignition. He can't get it out. All right, he's going one more time. Oh, he got it up. He took the blue chew. He's ready to go. Making his move. But what can he do? He's gonna go over to the house, the hut. And we got a play action moment here. He's gonna call an audible. He's looking for help. He doesn't need it. He says, I'll take the bullets instead. Hey, what's that? Oh yeah, better gun? Not really. Moving around, looking for the hunt. There's the hunt. Ooh, could pick up that and drop the double, but the double's more tactical because if you just take a 50 shot, you could still just heal up 50 and you got an extra 50 later. If you drop those two bigs for the keg, then you just have 100 shot, and then you know it might be good because maybe you take 70 damage and then you're just dropping one. But then also kind of signifies to your enemy where you are, unless like you really do some good wall building to disguise your location. Mats have not been hard to come by. I mean, I've been stacking mats. Look at the World Cup count.